antibiotic resistance gene. So here this is the plasmid, and this plasmid has the antibiotic resistance here and antibiotic resistance here. So this is ampicillin resistance, and this is tetracycline resistance. So we have both the genes for ampicillin resistance and for tetracycline resistance. Now children, this also shows insertional inactivation. This also shows insertional inactivation. How does this show insertional inactivation? This shows insertional inactivation in the following way. Suppose we have a desired gene, and this desired gene, which I represent with the green color, if this desired gene is inserted here in the ampicillin resistance, we have inserted our gene of interest in the ampicillin resistance. Now, because this desired gene has been inserted in ampicillin resistance, so this plasmid has lost resistance for ampicillin. That means the resistance for ampicillin has been lost. So in this case, if this is introduced in the host, this is bacterial cell, which has this host, this is the host, and inside we have this plasmid, which has our gene of interest, and this gene of interest is inserted in the ampicillin resistance gene. So that because of that, the resistance for ampicillin has been lost. Now, if this host is introduced in a medium with ampicillin, then in that case, if this host is introduced in the medium with ampicillin, this host will not be able to remain alive. This will die because it has lost the ampicillin resistance because of insertional inactivation. Now, in this case, what happens if we do insertional inactivation of one of the antibiotic? In this case, we do not use the medium in which insertional inactivation has been done. In this case, the medium in which the transformants are cultured, that medium is another resistant gene. So in this case, we will use tetracycline. Now, because of this tetracycline, this host, which is this transformant, which is introduced here, this transformant, because of this gene, this gene is for ampicillin resistance, and this host has lost resistance for ampicillin, but this host has got resistance for tetracycline. So resistance for tetracycline is already there, and if we culture this in a medium with tetracycline, this will remain alive. This will not die. So either of the one of these two resistance can be used for insertional inactivation, and another remains like that. And when we grow our transformant in that another medium, it has got resistance for that, so it remains alive. So this is the way we can separate our transformants. This is the way we can separate our transformant from the non-transformant. So children, this was about this. So the next topic which I'm going to start with you now is gel electrophoresis. Gel electrophoresis. This is a technique to separate different fragments of DNA. How the different size of fragments of DNA can be separated. Now, what we do, we collect DNA. Collection of DNA is done during the recombinant DNA technology. Collection of DNA, and how this DNA is collected? This DNA is collected by using various enzymes, and either from the plant cells or from the animal cell. By using various enzymes, we collect the DNA. So when we collect it from plant cell, what do we use? We use cellulase, we use lactase, we use lipase, we use protease. When we collect from animal cell, because animal cell has only cell membrane, in that case we use lipase and protease only. So this way the DNA is collected. After collecting DNA, what is done? The DNA is separated from its material. So now for separation, there is a technique in which we first mix it with various chemicals, and then we take it in a test tube. Okay, before this, what happens? Before this, after we take out the DNA from the cells, it is fragmented. It is broken down into pieces by endonucleases. Endonucleases are used to break them down into small pieces of different lengths. Of different lengths, the DNA is broken, and then it is taken along with that chemical only in a test tube. So now from this, how we will collect our DNA, the fragments of DNA? Suppose these are the fragments of DNA which we have made by using endonucleases. This DNA, in this test tube, we pour chilled ethanol. When chilled ethanol is poured in it, it doesn't mix in it, rather it forms a separate layer. And these DNA fragments, they come to lie at the boundary. From here, they come to lie at the boundary or at the junction of both the solution where we have poured the chilled ethanol. So from here, we spool out the DNA, spooling. That process is known as spooling. Spooling, that means we take out with a glass rod the DNA fragments. Okay, this is taking out DNA fragments with the help of glass rod. Now, these DNA are of different lengths. So, how to separate the DNA of different lengths? This is done by electrophoresis. This technique of electrophoresis, it was given by Tiselius. And what happens in this process of electrophoresis? This I'm going to describe now. In this process of electrophoresis, first of all, agarose gel is taken. Agarose gel is available in the form of powder. It is a seaweed and it is present in the form of available in the market in the form of powder. When this agarose powder is mixed with water, a gel-like substance is formed, and this is poured on glass sheets or glass slides. Okay, a layer is made and we get a layer of agarose gel. Okay, and this is used as a base. We get this. Now, after this, what is done is this slide we have, and we have all the fragments of these, the fragments which we have spooled out. those are taken along with this. This is the glass slide with agarose gel. Agarose gel, this is the glass slide, and all the fragments are taken and they are allowed to flow through it, flow through this agarose gel glass slide. So what happens? According to the density, they take their place. Suppose the higher one, the bigger one, they take the place before, and the smaller ones, they go farther and they take the place later on. So this is how they are, arranged on the basis of their density. Now, this is gel electrophoresis, which is done on the basis of density gradient. Separation of different sizes of DNA fragments on the basis of density gradient. Now, in this case, electricity is also used, and that electrophoresis, how that is done. For that, there is a term which is known as isoelectric point. There is a term which is known as isoelectric point. This isoelectric point is the pH. This is the pH at which, this what charge the DNA has? DNA has a negative charge, at which the DNA fragment loses charge, loses its charge. So this is another method which I'm telling, in which electricity, in which pH is used, and how this is done. During this method, a trough is taken, and in this trough we have a positive and a negative here, a positive here and a negative here and a positive here. Here what we do, we spread the agarose gel here, agarose gel. Okay, agarose gel is here. And at the same time, what do we have? We arrange or we set a pH meter here, so that which gives the 7 is set over here, and below 7 all the numbers are set over here, 5, 4, 3, 2, and after 7 all the numbers are set here. This tells you, this will tell you pH. Now, all the fragments of DNA which are of different size, the DNA fragments have a negative charge, so they all are settled here. All the DNA segments, they are placed here of different size. Okay, they are placed here. Now what happens when electricity is passed through? They start moving towards the positive charge. And how will they move? See, different fragments have, all the fragments have negative charge, but their response to pH will be different. Suppose this fragment, it reaches here at 7 and it gets its isoelectric point. That means at point 7, it loses its charge. It will become stable here. It will not move further. Another fragment, suppose this fragment, it reaches here. When it reaches 8, 9, 10, when it reaches 10, it loses its charge. So it will settle here. So this way, all the fragments on this settles down. Now, suppose 2 of them have settled here. Okay, two more have settled here. 1 has settled here. 3 have settled here. Okay, this way they all settle at different places. Okay, and wherever they lose the charge, they stop moving further. Now this particular plate is removed where these fragments are placed. Now what happens? This is now set for the density gradient. This plate is now set for density gradient. We have removed here on the basis of electricity and on the basis of isoelectric point. Here we have separated different fragments of DNA on the basis of isoelectric point. Now the same plate where they have separated, we remove it and we take it for density gradient test. Now here what happens again? The plate is taken, okay, and then this plate is taken on a buffer with a buffer solution. So this plate is taken here and buffer is added to it. Buffer is added to it. Buffer is added to it. And this is agarose gel. So when buffer starts moving, what happens? They also starts moving towards this direction on the basis of their density. Okay, now these when actually they do not come like this. Their shape, their arrangement is like this. They are arranged this way. Here also they will be arranged this way. They will be arranged in this direction, horizontal. They are arranged horizontally. They are arranged horizontally. So here also we have taken the same slide. So all are arranged horizontally. All are arranged horizontally here. So we have taken this slide. Now what will happen on the basis of density gradient, they will start moving down. So they will separate. Okay, on the basis of their size, they separate like this. This will also separate. This also on the basis of their size will separate. Okay, this will also separate. So this is the second separation which is done with and which is vertical. So what do we get? We get different shapes. We get different sizes of DNA, which are separated and which are arranged properly according to their size. Now, how this is removed? Now, how to remove it? This particular, if we want this fragment of DNA, how this can be removed? This is removed by a process which is known as elution. Elution. This is simply scooping it out like the way ice cream is scooped. So same way, this is also scooped along with agarose gel. And this process of removing it from the agarose gel, removing that small piece which has that fragment of DNA, is known as elution. And what do we use? We use scalpel. You must have seen in biolab scalpel, knife-like instrument which we use. So that by that the DNA fragment is removed and the process is known as elution. If we want to keep this for a long time, if we want to store the DNA fragments for a long time, then there is another process, another way by which they can be stored, and that is by transferring them to nitrocellulose membrane. They are transferred to nitrocellulose membrane. And when they are transferred to nitrocellulose membrane, this nitrocellulose membrane is stable and doesn't get decayed or doesn't get spoiled for a long time. So the DNA fragments can be stored for a long time if these are transferred from here to the nitrocellulose membrane. So this is a way of storing the DNA fragments. Suppose some plants are extinct or some animals are extinct, their DNA we can store like this. Okay, so anything in this you want me to repeat? Yes, beta, anything in this you want me to repeat? Yes, bache? I'm not getting any response. Clear. Okay. So this was electrophoresis, and now tomorrow I'll tell you how these fragments of DNA are transferred into the nitrocellulose membrane, and then I will also tell you the how these fragments are transferred into the nitrocellulose membrane. It's a assembly is made in which these agarose gel with these fragments are kept, and above that nitrocellulose membrane is kept, and they are transferred by the same density gradient process. Okay, so this I'll be telling you tomorrow, but today this electrophoresis point is very important. The definition is clearly given in the book, so you can go through the definition in the book, and you can understand. Yes, explain spooling. Okay, spooling I'll explain, beta. Some student wants to explain spooling. Okay, bache, I'll just in 1 minute. Actually, when from the plant material, suppose in the lab when we do isolation of DNA, that is known as isolation of DNA, the first step when we take out DNA from any plant cell or animal cell. When we do in the lab, in the practical, we use onion is used to remove DNA from the onion cells. Now we mix it with some shampoo and some salt, and then we heat it. These things, what do? They break the cell and the DNA is taken out. Now, that DNA, that means that DNA is mixed with other substances also. Okay, when we in the lab, when we do, we mix it in a grinder, in a mixer, we mix it. So what happens? The DNA fragments also break. Now what is done, that when that DNA which we have removed from the plant cell is taken in a test tube. So suppose this is a plant cell and we have a DNA here which has been taken in a test tube. Now what happens, that we want to separate it from this. Now for separating, what do? We take chilled ethanol. Ethanol, in the mess we keep ethanol for since morning, the day we have to perform the experiment. We keep the ethanol in the lab for a few hours. It is chilled, then we take it and we pour it. That ethanol is poured in the test tube. So when that ethanol is poured in the test tube, it makes a layer above it. That means it doesn't mix with the substance which we have already got in the test tube. Now when it makes a layer about it, this boundary which is formed between the two substances, at this boundary all the fragments of DNA, they come and lie. All the fragments of DNA, they come and lie at the junction of the two substances. When they come and lie here at the junction of the two substances, we take a glass rod. Glass rod which is available in the chemistry lab also. This glass rod is taken, and with the glass rod, we insert the glass rod in and we remove it. This picture is clearly shown in the NCERT book. I'll show you. This spooling is shown in the NCERT book, very clear picture. This is the picture of spooling. See, the DNA has been taken out. See, the DNA isolates this way and then it is taken out with a glass rod. You can see this is not a glass rod, this is rather iron rod, and with that it is taken out. If you see, it has been taken out. This is given in the NCERT book. So this is spooling. So beta, transformants, non-transformants, the tools of biotechnology, then this electrophoresis, then oh yes, I just wanted to tell you one thing. These diagrams which are given in the book, these are very important ones. This diagram is very important from the examination point of view. The diagram is 11.1. The diagram which is 11.2 is also very important. If you see, this is 11.2 diagram. This is also very important. This is the diagram which represents the recombinant DNA technology, how the desired gene, if you see, this is the desired gene which is taken, how it is introduced in the plasmid. Here you can see it has come into the plasmid, and then plasmid is transmitted to the host, where it divides, and our gene will also increase in number. So this diagram is also very important from the examination point of view. And besides this, yes, the diagram of PBR322, which is also given in the book. This is also important. Diagram PBR322 11.4. 11.3 gel electrophoresis has been shown here. The wells have been shown. And yes, one thing more I would like to tell you, when we get it like this, we remove the fragments which we get according to their size. We remove it by elution. Elution means a knife like, we take a knife like scalpel and we have to remove it. But you know, the DNA fragments, they are so much similar to the agarose gel. You will not be able to identify that this is DNA fragment. So how to identify that? For that, there are two processes by which you can identify that this has there, the DNA fragment is there, which we have to remove. Now, the two processes are: number one, by treating it with ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide. This is a chemical substance which is carcinogenic. This is a chemical substance which is carcinogenic. A solution of ethidium bromide is made, and into this solution of ethidium bromide, this is dipped, in which we have got our this sheet of agarose gel, in which we have got the different fragments of DNA. This is dipped, and after dipping into the solution of ethidium bromide, this is, you know, exposed to UV rays. UV rays. It is exposed to UV rays. When it is exposed to UV rays, what happens? These fragments, they are visible because they are visible as orange bands. They are visible as orange bands, and we see fine here this orange band of this shape, of this size. So we remove it by elution. Another way is by X-ray film. X-ray. X-ray. In this, probes are added. You know, probes. In this, probes are added. The second method is by X-ray films. In this, probes are added. You know what are probes? Probes are, you know, artificially made DNA sequences. Artificially made. Suppose here we have made an artificial DNA sequence. It has A, T, G, and C. This is a sequence this probe has. So the artificially made probes, they are inserted in and they go and attach. Suppose this has ATGC, so it will attach to the one which is complementary to it. Suppose this has T, A, C, and G. It will come and attach with this. And when it attaches with this, and when it is seen through the X-ray film, it appears orange. Not orange, gray or black. The band which appears in this case is gray or black. And we can remove. We see it because these are visible in the form of gray or black bands. We see it and we remove it by the process of elution. So these are the two ways how to remove the different size of DNA which are there in the agarose gel. So this is one process. One thing is one has to be very careful while using ethidium bromide, because this ethidium bromide is a carcinogen. It is a carcinogen. By carcinogen, what do we mean? What do we mean by carcinogen? In the labs, it has to be used carefully. What do we mean by carcinogen, beta? Yes? What is carcinogen? Anybody? Yes, what is carcinogen? I'm not getting the response. Yes, I have got it. So it has to be removed. It has to be used very carefully. Now, this removal has taken place. Now, tomorrow I'll tell you how assembly is made, and these different fragments, different sizes of DNA fragments are transferred to the nitrocellulose membrane, And the DNA fragments in the nitrocellulose membrane can be stored for a long time. Okay, so then there are few terms. You must have heard of the terms Western blotting, Eastern blotting, Western blotting, Southern blotting, and Northern blotting. There are three terms. Southern, Northern, and Western blotting. There are three terms which are used in biotechnology in the treatment of DNA, RNA, and proteins. So these three terms also I'll tell you tomorrow. So right now, I think the time is over. I leave the class. Okay, beta, take care of yourself.